y'all? Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. Really quick, just wanted to talk about the 800 pavement network. As you can see, we have some lettering there, lettering on our other truck over there, lettering on this truck here. They all say 1-800-Blacktop. We've been using the 1-800-Blacktop number here for the last couple of years. It's really been exceptional for us as far as making things click with our branding, and now that we're in another state, those area codes are together. It's worked out fantastically for us. The other thing is that 800 Pavement Network has other advantages. There's group discounts on a lot of the products and materials that we use within our industry. We're part of over 300 different, see that one? Over 300 different contractors that are now using these numbers all over the country. That's combined over $2 billion in gross profits. So if you've been thinking about it or you're curious about it and you're like, well, should I or shouldn't I? DM me, message me, or reach out to 800 Pavement Network. You can find them online through their website. You can call 1-800-PAVEMENT and you'll get them as well. They'd be happy to run you through kind of the advantages and everything else that we've been taking advantage of here at Wiscote and Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance, and how it can benefit you as well. Once again, if you're curious about it at all, you can always DM me. See that? 1-800-Blacktop. You can DM me or message me or email me through the podcast or Wiscote or wherever as well. I would love to talk to you about how it has helped us.
That's right.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, man.
All right. Hey, everybody, welcome back. It's Blacktop Banner, episode 87. And we have a returning guest and new content creator here at Blacktop Banner. So we're hoping to have all these guys on here at some point. And Daniel, we are glad to have back on the podcast and glad to have as a creator. If you follow Daniel on any social media, you will know that he's pretty direct, pretty straightforward, and has strong beliefs and makes great content that we all love. Right. To me, anyways, I do, because we get a good flavor of everything. But Daniel's perspective is a lot different and a lot more ingrained in morals and integrity and ethical background. I like that aspect of it. So I'll introduce Daniel because Daniel already introduced himself before. Daniel Wright is the owner of Proline Parking Lot Maintenance in North Carolina, Greater Charlotte area. And we had a conversation here a while back, Daniel. Like, you called me out of the blue, like right when we were kind of talking about you coming on as a creator. And what kind of just brush over and tell us real quick what that. It's a conversation that has been had in many circles within the industry, at different meetings, at different dinners and that type of stuff. But it was one where you're like, all right, we're going to bring this to the surface here. And here we are. We're on Blacktop Banner doing it. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, first, I appreciate you having me on again. I didn't know after the last one if I'd be invited back. So I appreciate the returning invite. But yeah, I remember the conversation vividly. It was a couple weeks back, and
what spurred it on? What spurred it on? What spurred that conversation on?
Yeah, so there was a situation out on a job site that we were looking at, and just conversations with other contractors. And really things just started getting brought to light about some people that we knew in our area, in our industry, that maybe were not performing at a moral and ethical standard that I think people are capable of. And so when you start getting things brought to light like that, I mean, I guess it'd be like a basketball player or a baseball player knowing that the pitcher has, tar behind his ear or something. And it's like, come on, man. Like, why would you do that? No one, like, we're all trying to play a fair game here, and you're going to sit and, pull stuff out from, up your sleeve that really isn't necessary, that you can still throw a good pitch without the tar, that you can still make money on the parking lot without being, unmoral or unethical. So that's kind of what got brought to light about just some stuff. And it wasn't, any one contractor in particular. It was, just as far as an industry discussion, and like how, there's just been specific times where things have happened in our market, in our back door that we're all competing in and playing against. And it's, it's like, come on, guys, if you're going to play fair. And, so that's what sparked it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of titled it as raising the bar, right? And I mean, when you talk about the tar behind the ear, right, and throwing a pitch, the mentality that I think they fall back on, pitchers, who I guess we'll put it as pitchers, right, in our industry, is that as long as no one knows the tar's there behind their ear, everything's fine. Like it's okay, right? It's okay,
Yeah.
right? There's not a problem with that. Now here's the thing: those guys, right, that have tar behind their ear, they're not Nolan Ryan, right? They're not in the Hall of Fame. They're not Cy Young winners. Like these are the
Yep.
guys that are doing it for a momentary win for just a minute, right? And that's what they get, right? So for me, right here at Wisco and with Proline, you and I have both prided ourselves on developing and branding and creating a quality that allows our phone to ring without us having to do outbound lead searches, right? And
Yeah.
we've done that based on morals, which you and I both connect, right? We're friends. We both connect very well on that, ethics and transparency. So if we're raising the bar, right? How do we do that, man? Like, not to play devil's advocate, but how do we, right? Like we've done a great job within our industry and within our businesses, I guess. I'm sorry, not the industry, but within our businesses of being an example of that. But still, you still have guys that choose this. How do we get them to not choose to cut the damn corners, right? Because it makes what that makes is hard for us when we go into a client call. It makes it hard right away. We're down a peg right away because I had a bad experience before. How do we get around that? How do we like divert this, I guess?
How much time you give me to talk on this?
As well, you got all the time in the world.
No, honestly, man, I think at the end of the day, like there's a few key things that go into that. First and foremost, we as business owners, as humans, whatever, however you want to classify us in whatever realm, we only have control over what we do. We have zero control over what a competitor does, what a friend does, what whoever else, what they do. So we have control over how we operate our business. We have control over how we conduct our business, over the morals and ethics that we fall in line with in our business. We have control over that. So that's like the first thing that starts right there is how we choose to do it. One of the big things that we choose to do is our level of transparency and communication with our clients. So yeah, you're talking about raising the bar and changing it and like maybe trying to get other people to like see that like they don't have to cut the corner to win. Well, at the end of the day, our actions are going to speak louder than words, right? Everything I'm about to tell you right now, you've probably heard somewhere else. I'm just putting it in my words, all right? But our actions are going to speak louder than words. So if we do the right thing long enough, we will get the right results. Okay. So when that happens, and the competitors that we see, running around town or whatever, cutting corners, taking the shortcuts, trying to, get a one up, and they're going to see like, man, that company like doubled in size. Like, oh wow, they just stole one of our employees. Like our employee just left to go work there, or a client, we didn't get that job, and now we see them doing it. So over time, and that little thing called time right there,
Yeah.
that's the hardest part to overcome, right? Because you and I who feel so passionately about things, we want them to happen instantly, right away, immediately. And so if we do the right thing over the course of time, it will eventually make the impact that it needs to be made. That doesn't mean that you're never going to have a guy put tar behind his ear again. It's
Right.
not going to happen, right? We live in a fallen world, a fallen
Right.
society. So it will always be there. But when we can develop ourselves as a foundational pillar to our industry and our market, that will be the example that's needed.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, to piggyback off of that, you know, you and I, coming on here as onto the Blacktop Banner team, took a little bit of arm twisting, a little bit, because you were like, well, what the heck am I gonna do, right? Like what is it gonna look like? And I was my conversation with you was, dude, we have to get this in front of people, right? Like we could do this if the podcast didn't exist and Blacktop Banner didn't exist, and all I did was show what we did through Wiscoat, but yet I didn't make I didn't interact with the community, I didn't do anything like that, it's not going to have a large of an impact as we need it to have in order to bring this to the attention of the industry, right? In order to have other contractors be like, okay, they are obviously winning doing it this way. This is how I should be doing it instead of doing it this way. And I know that that was kind of the one of the essential pieces of like, well, we can do that. We can be an example, but if we're an example to one or two people, that's cool. If we're an example to thousands of people, that's when an impact starts to get made. And that my problem that I have sometimes is I fall back on people who say, if I can just if I can help one person, if I can just change one person, it's like, cool, that's cool. But don't be going and doing what you're doing with the mindset of if I can change one person. It's like if I can change my industry, that's what I want. Like that's really what I aim to do. So when we do that, we talk about morals and ethics and everything else. That has to be something internally, like you were just talking about, but you can't just do it on the job site. Like it can't just be on the job site only. I'm only going to have morals and ethics and transparency on the job site, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's not a long-term change, correct?
Yep. Yeah, and that's where, like in our company, we have core values. We have 6 specific core values that we live and operate by. And part of the rules of the core values is it's not just when you're here clocked in at work, it's how you live because you now represent us as a company. So as our company grows, as our staff grows, as our team grows, there's going to be more people we bring in that we expect to operate by these core values. So eventually, like you said, it's John Maxwell, does it great with his leadership strategy. Is he wants to add value to leaders so they can multiply it to their followers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So at the end of the day, we as leaders have to add value to our leaders who
Mm-hmm.
maybe right now it's the guy who comes into work and he's got a wife and a young son at home. He's a leader to that family.
Right.
So us as the leader of what we're starting here, that we have to add value to him. So when he goes home, he teaches his son, hey bud, I know you could probably do it this way. It's a little easier. It's a little, less of a headache. You can make a little bit more money, but it ain't going to be the right thing to do.
Right.
Right. So we have to instill that into the people that we have influence over so that they will then, impact on the people they have influence over. It's a cascading effect, that truly should never end. As long as
Right.
we're adding value to the right people, it will never end.
One thing that it parallels with, and I know you can tell by my physique, is the gym, right? Like if I go to the gym and you see me lift and do a good set, but then you see me go to Cheesecake Factory afterwards, and I go ahead and let her eat, you're gonna be like, dude, why the F did you even bother? Like, why did you even go to the gym? Right? It's like, yeah, that's cool, I guess, but it is not having the long-term effect that you're hoping it's having because you're only really performing in one small area of your life. Essentially, when we talk about raising the bar, you're talking about making a transition in the leadership at these companies or individuals that are doing the work or whatever. You're talking about a change, like a big change, right?
So
Life
raising the
wise.
bar, yeah, raising the bar though, it simplifies it like you are the bar. So
Right.
if you want to be associated with raising the bar, like you are that bar. So
Yes.
you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to have the discipline. You have to have the reason behind it that you
Mhm.
want to raise it. Otherwise, like you said, you're going to go to the gym and lift, and then you're going to go eat like crap and just lay around the rest of the day
Yeah.
and do nothing.
Yeah. And I
So
mean, here's the other thing, right? So let's say you are one of these companies, but there is something there where you're like, man, I want to be one of the marquee companies, right? And your mindset is, well, yeah, if I keep cutting some corners, I'm going to eventually save up enough to do something to get there. When really that's not how it effing works. How it works is you go to the gym, you lift, you go home, you eat right, you get plenty of rest, you go to the gym the next day or the next other day and you lift and then you eat right and you do this repetitively over time and over time and over time, not for 2 weeks, for 2 years. And then all of a sudden you start to see the change that you were hoping to see within the business and within your industry. The The best way that I can express for people to do that, and I know you've known me a long time, right? You've known me since I've started preaching about social media, and man, it's so important. We have to be sure we're using it and doing it the right way and all this stuff, is by the people that are doing it the right way, putting the content out there that they're doing it the right way. Like it literally has to be that. Now, with that, there's a lot of great byproducts. I'll name a couple of them. One, our industry standard goes up quite a bit. The other byproduct, with that industry standard going up, our price for what we do work wise goes up as well. Right.
Yep.
So therefore our margins become better. Hallelujah. Thank God. Everybody's happy. Right. The third byproduct of that is we create an atmosphere of winners, right? Of like people that get shit done and do it really, really well. When we talk about the shit that's the tar behind the ear, we're talking about a lot of things, dude. We're talking about people adding a lot of water to sealer. We're talking about people using as fine a tip as they can to put down a minimal amount of paint as they can, or the cheapest to paint that they have available, or paint that they've cut and thinned. I know that happens, right? To save buckets of paint are fucking expensive now. Why not? Why not thin it down a little bit? I mean, these are all not cleaning the parking lot correctly because you want to hurry up and get the F out of there, get paid, and go on to the next one, doing whatever. These are all things we've seen, dude. Like all of these things we've seen. You can't just do one and not do the other. You can't just it has to be that old adage. I know you like to preach it to me quite a bit, and I say it repetitively here at Wisco, is how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So so how do we get that? How do we write this? Right? I know we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but is that it? Is it just we are transparent with our companies and then we put that out for the whole world to see? Because the old adage was you threw these guys under the bus, man. Like you, right? Like when it came to conversations, you'd be like, dude, these guys do this, these guys do that. I'm not trying to talk bad about everybody, about anybody, but they do it this way, they do it this way, they do it this way. Even if, and how I would end the conversations if it was a client that we were trying to get is, I don't care if you don't choose us, but make sure you choose somebody who does the caliber of work that we do, right?
Yep.
So we can have those conversations with the clients, but how do we write it within our industry? Where are the opportunities like that within our industry? Besides just us showing our work, what else can we do? What else do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, showing everything and being open about it is going to be the number one step. Because like I said earlier, we only have control over what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think at the end of the day too, like as wild as it sounds, like I've heard stories in this industry of competitors or even actually like people who work within the same company, like going to blows out on parking lots with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and getting altercations and things like that. Obviously, I'm not going around looking for people to make sure that be the ethics police and hold them accountable and have a confrontation. But if things come up in conversation in these industry conversations or in any of these groups that people are a part of, that's where we hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
If a person that I'm associated with in any of the networks that I'm in comes and says, oh yeah, we sell a 2 sprayed coat application as 1 sprayed coat, but we just overlap it and call it 2. Like
Right.
I'm gonna look at that person dead in the eye and say, okay, so you're selling them 1 sprayed coat.
Right.
You're lying to them.
Yeah.
I don't care how you twist and turn it. 2 + 2 is 4. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's
there's
similar.
a lot of things, man, that people have to be willing to have uncomfortable conversations.
Uh-huh.
Uh, not necessarily be afraid of the repercussions. At the end of the day, if you're going to go about it in a correct professional way, not to meddle in people's business, but if the opportunity presents itself, then it is your duty to hold another person accountable and to keep the bar set.
And we need it. Like it's not like something we can just keep going at this pace, right? Like we need it. We've seen if you're involved with the asphalt social media community or just community industry community in general, you've seen these companies that are marquee companies that are putting out content that show why they kick so much ass versus everybody else, right? So we've seen it. The thing is, we need that. We need more of that. We need that to be the representation of the industry. Otherwise, it's going to keep going the way that it has been going with that other trajectory, right? To where when we're there already, I don't know how many parking lots you get on, but I get on some parking lots and guys are like, yeah, I don't even believe in seal coating. Like, I just don't even believe in it. Like, it's gone. I can't fathom why we would even do it if it does even does anything at all. And that's because they've had an experience, or they take the word of somebody who's had an experience that was very, very negative. And meanwhile, you and I are trying to explain to them why it helps prevent oxidization, why it helps prevent raveling, why it's going to hold the binders together longer and repel water and prevent against erosion. And they're like, yeah, sure. And they're like, no, like, I did that with a mechanic, right? We had a mechanic at Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance. He owned a mechanic shop. And I'm like, so you're telling me, like, don't change my oil then, essentially, right? Because I'm trying to tell you all the benefits of it. If you tell me all the benefits of changing my oil, you're the professional. I'm going to take your word for it, right?
Yep.
And I kind of know that I need to change my oil already, right? And that's essentially what the conversation where him and I went was, dude, I could have went to a different mechanic that had a shittier shop that maybe put used motor oil in it, and I would never known. Shit could have happened, and he could have just said, whatever. I said, but I don't do that. I make the choice to come here and get my oil changed because I know of your guys' reputation. That's essentially why you called us versus calling whoever you called before. We happen to have a stellar reputation here. For me, I think that the conversations that we have about this topic within the industry need to carry more weight versus just pointing fingers, right? Like, that's where you and I have had this conversation and why we're having the conversation now. Everybody has pointed fingers. You can point fingers as long as you want to. That's not going to do any kind of change for anything or raise the bar anywhere, right? It's just not going to.
Well, I think, yeah, I think, but if at the end of the day, if you're going to point fingers and you want to make an impact, point your fingers at yourself. If you're
Yeah.
doing it right, be open with people. You don't have to share your bank account with them, but you can tell them, be like, look, this is how I price this out. This is
Yeah.
how we do it. This is how we offer the transparency to the client, to make sure they know what they're getting. It doesn't take extra time. The guys on the site can do it, whatever it may be that you do, like show them and then show them like this is what we're selling our products for.
Mm-hmm.
This is the money that we're able to make, our gross profit margins, things like that. So the more transparent you are with the people you're trying to influence, the more you're going to be able to influence them.
Yeah.
You can sit and point fingers and say, hey man, you're doing that wrong. You need to fix it. Okay, well at the end of the day, like no little kid's gonna listen to the parent that just tells them what to do.
Right.
Right. Like they'd rather get the butt whooping and do what they want than just do what they do. But now if that parent takes some time and explains like, hey man, like, or hey buddy, you want to, clean up the dishes after you eat so you can have dishes for tomorrow when you want to eat, and
Yeah.
it makes them understand like, oh, there's a reason behind this,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I think that that's the main goal, right? And I think that that's for me, for us, for you and I, everybody has different motivators, right? Of what motivates them to do whatever, whether that's a different season in their life or it's just something that's ingrained to them or whatever. And the big motivator of why we all run a business and do our own business and what we all strive to do is create better profit, right? Better profit margin, higher profit, grow, expand, scale. When you run a business, you run a business to make money. Like, you don't run a business to lose money, for Pete's sake. But there's a lot of other motivators for running your business, right? Making money is
yes.
part of it. Now, the most common and best entry level way to connect with people motivating wise is the fact that if they do this the right way, they create better margin for themselves. They create the opportunity to charge more by delivering a better product. And when we talk about a better product, we don't just mean putting sealer on the ground, putting crack filler in cracks, or painting lines. We're talking about morals, ethics, integrity, delivering high quality, right? Stuff we can stand behind. That's the product that I don't know about you, but that's the product that we sell here. We do
Hmm.
the seal coating, we put that material down, but we sell Wiscoat. We don't sell steel coat, we sell Wiscoat. And I think that when you're able to explain that to some of these guys and be able to be transparent with them through social media and show them, hey, this is the right way to do it, that's the great kickoff motivator to then be like, okay, then let's do it that way. Let's make it work that way and see what happens. Now, as you grow in business, as you and I have, we do a lot of other things with our business. It generates a lot more than income, right? That's the key down the road too, is to keep going with it, because otherwise we're going to show these guys how to lift at the gym, and then we're not going to show them how to improve in other areas of their physique as well, right? We're just going to show them how to get big biceps or great shoulders or delts, right? Like I got. So I mean, that's the key is I think that when there's a commitment to it, you have to commit to it within your industry and then in your business. And then you have to commit to the people that you're showing as well. And then they end up having to commit to that as well, too. So when we talk about it, it's a culture change all the way through. It's a culture change within your industry, within your business. And then hopefully that bleeds over within the industry.
Yep.
Correct? I mean, I don't know any
Yep.
other way to explain it, man, or another way to do it. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's not that
Yeah.
people don't know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They're blatantly
So
doing it.
yeah. So to touch on what you said a second ago about, as far as, starting a business, owning a business, things like that, is to create, revenue, profits, and income, things like that. I agree. When I first got into this, it was I want to make money.
Yeah.
Like I've told my story before, wife was in nursing school. I was working three other jobs. Like I needed to make money. So
Yep.
yes, the initial spur was to make money. Then it became, all right, well, now there's a problem in this industry with unethical contractors and people who won't answer phones and people who aren't reliable. Cool. I've got room to like show clients what's different
Right.
and still gonna make some money. I'm gonna make more money because I'm doing it, right?
Right.
So over the last couple of years, though, as I've actually had a team built around me, I actually don't think about the money at all.
No.
Zero. I tell everybody here that I come here to help build and lead other individuals with what little knowledge that I've gained in my 32 years on this planet. I
Mhm.
want to pass it on to other people and help them be the best versions of them.
Sure.
When we do that, we're building operations guys who's, now like we've got one guy who, hey, he's in charge of maintenance for our stuff on our operations team. Another guy who's a prep guy. We've got our office manager. We got an office manager assistant. Like we've got all these people that we're building in their own realms. But I tell all of them when they leave here and they go home, my goal for them is to be a better version of them at home too. And so what we're doing, Marvin, and I think it ties into what you're saying here because it's how do we make the impact? How do we influence the people to do it right? As soon as they can get off of the whole sidetrack of I'm starving for money, I need money, or I'm greedy and want to make all the money,
I want to
whatever
save. I want to save $50.
yeah, whatever it is. And once they get rid of that and they just say, you know what? I want to sleep good at night. I want to help other people live a good life. I want to serve our clients to the best of our ability. I want to be transparent with them. I want to restore faith in this industry, in me as a contractor, as a human, whatever it may be. As soon as people start realizing that, that's when the impact will be getting made. That's when it happens. You know, like I've had conversations with the guys, like we record all of our usage rates on our jobs to make sure that we're putting down enough product,
Yeah.
and make sure we're not putting too much,
Yeah.
because, numbers matter. As much as I say money doesn't matter, like that's still what makes your business function.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing this as a hobby, right?
Right.
So those things matter. But like, I mean, how many business owners do you know that's going to get on your operations team and say, hey, you need to be putting this stuff down heavier?
Yeah.
Like you're not
Sure.
putting enough down, right? Those business owners, those people are going to be the ones that change their industries,
Yeah.
that impact their clients, their peers, things like that.
Yeah. And I think
It's
you,
just getting
you,
off the money side and just doing it for the purpose.
yeah. I mean, and how great is that, right? I mean, you and I started, we both were in the same boat, right? We both had the same motivators, and through time, our motivations have changed to why we come in here every day, right? And what we do. Um, it was done through the mindset that you and I both share about this topic. So, as one man does, so can another. It's a quote I say quite often. We have done that because we had people in front of us, mentors, people that have been successful business owners that we've been able to pick the brains of along our journey as well, that graduated from worrying about whether they're going to pay their bills or not or whatever. But then we apply that to ourselves, and here we are. Now, as one man does, so can another. That can be replicated all around, all throughout the industry. Now, here's the thing. You're always going to have people with tar behind the ears. You're always going to, like you said, right? But if we can separate that gap, right, and make it unbelievable, you know what you're doing when you buy a pair of Nikes, right? You also know what you're getting when you buy a pair of Hey Dudes, right? So you're not going to go play baseball in your Hey Dudes, right? You're not going to go play basketball and think you can compete in a pair of Hey Dudes. So for me, if we can separate that gap even further, and the clients know what we're doing, the industry knows what we're doing, that's where I would love us to get, because being so close muddles it pretty
Yeah.
easily, right? To where we look like we're them and they look like they're us and whatever else. We want to separate that. Now, when I do this with my hands, which you can't see on the audio version, my one hand's higher than my other one, um, your margins are up here too. So if money is still your motivator, which is fine. I don't care if money motivates you. I don't care. As long as you're highly motivated, right, to improve what you do daily, you're going to still create higher margins up here. It's a byproduct.
Yes,
It's a
that
byproduct.
is
The money
it's
has been a
yes.
byproduct of us wanting to be the absolute best at what we do. The money has become a byproduct of that. I don't
Yeah.
worry about that. We don't worry about that. I don't think, and here's the thing, as long as you are cracking at trying to hit that bar that you're raising, you are more than likely never going to have to worry about anything before that ever again. So if money was your worry, equipment troubles and being stranded was your worry, not having enough material was your worry, you aren't going to have those worries anymore. You and I talk about this pretty often. Like if our slates got wiped clean, we would never restart at the level that we were when we started, because our brain, our knowledge, and what we know has us so advanced that we're already more than halfway to the success of where we are now. All you need is just give me a little bit of time, right? I can go get a loan for some sealer and I'm good to go. Like we're gonna rock and roll, bud. So I mean that's the byproduct, right? I mean that's the goal.
Yep. Yeah, no, the word byproduct is the key word there. If you're doing the right thing and you're doing what you need to do, how you need to do it, the byproduct will be the reward. In
Yeah,
this case, the reward is the profits, the money, and things like that. I look at, I get a lot of rewards out of this. The fact that I can pay my bills and not have to worry about where my next meal is coming from, that's a reward.
yeah,
So there's no denying that. The reward of that I get to be able to have impact and influence over other individuals, whether it's in our industry, peers, employees, clients, whatever it may be, that's a reward. The fact that I've got young people here that are able to buy their first cars on their own, or maybe buy houses or things like that, those are rewards to me. Now, we all have different motives, we all have different things we're aiming for, but at the end of the day, all the rewards will come. They're a byproduct. What you receive is a byproduct of what you put in. And so if you
yeah.
put in good, you will get good.
Or don't put in.
Put in shit, you will get shit.
Yeah,
Like that's
bingo.
how it works.
Yeah, bingo. So I think what we do is um do what we've been doing, have the tough conversations, keep this in the forefront of what we do here at Blacktop Banter, right? And you got a hashtag give more 2022 behind you. Why not? Why don't we do raise the bar 2023, right? Through Blacktop Banner, and we'll put two B's in there. So it's raise the bar and it looks like Blacktop Banner in there. And we make that something to where people who tag us or do whatever through that, we promote that through Blacktop Banter, right? Of them doing a little bit extra, of them being transparent, right? Of them raising the bar in their own businesses. And we create that culture right here. I mean, that's what we have to do. I mean, we have this community that's been built and that's put together, and we all have similar needs and want. We're a lot more alike than we are different. Why not come together and raise the damn bar in the industry and see what we can do within a year, right? I think it'll be cool to highlight, especially you know, now with you joining the team and whatnot, and putting this to the forefront. I think it would be cool to highlight that throughout the year. Companies that are raising the bar, whether they're at an education seminar, whether they're having coffee with a quote unquote competitor on how they can all end up doing better where we are. We do that right here. I meet with my buddy Jake, who's an hour away from us. They do seal coating. We talk about how we can raise the margins here even further, and how we can raise the bar up farther in front of our competitors here around here locally in southern Wisconsin. Why not do that? I'm in.
Yeah.
Raise the
Yeah,
bar.
I mean, it's just raising the bar will create the byproducts of the margins and things like that.
Yeah.
That's something, man, that um I'm very cautious about getting caught up in that, because I'm somebody who, like, I can get fall victim to shiny object syndrome. And if something just looks great, like, I'm just going to go after that. Oh, the margin. Okay, I need to figure out the margin. But
Yeah.
if I stick to the root and the foundation of provide the value that justifies the margins, think
Hmm.
about it, man. I always talk about I want to be the Ruth Chris of the pavement maintenance industry. I
Yeah.
don't want to be the Applebee's,
Right.
right? So Ruth Chris only has one or two in each city, that they're in.
Yep.
So they're hard to come by. And at the end of the day, they're providing you that steak that you're going to buy. That's really not a whole lot different than a ribeye. Like, a ribeye from there is pretty similar to a ribeye from Applebee's.
Right.
What's the difference? They provide so much value in what they're giving you in that experience, that when you come to dine with them, that their margins, that their profit they're charging you for that steak is justified. The
Yeah, but
client pay for
here's the
that
other
steak.
byproduct. There's two byproducts with that. The other byproduct is the patrons also share that experience with the people close to them through social media or
Exactly.
wherever, right? So that's the
Exactly.
other byproduct, right? Is that they talk about how great the experience was. They do your marketing for you, essentially, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no one really, let's be honest, how many plates of onion tanglers have you seen at Applebee's on your Facebook feed? Not very many. But when you see somebody who's got a badass ribeye, right, and they're at a fine dining experience, they post that son of a bitch, and then you're like,
Yep.
damn, that does look good, man. I think we want to go there. I think we want to try that. So there's a
Yep.
secondary byproduct of having a top shelf service delivered. I mean,
Yep.
it is what it is. I mean, for us, it's easy for us to see that that's the goal. Like, and not only is it the goal, but it's the system that works too, as well. You know,
Yep.
you get a lot of things that way. You don't have to worry about going out and making your phone ring anymore, because they're enjoying that top tier steak or seal coat job or line striping project or whatever. So I'm with you on this one. I think this is something that we are able to adapt and bring in to what we do here at Blacktop Banner and at Wiscoat, and I'm sure at Proline you guys already deliver that as well. And with the new year coming, everybody's kind of in the off season where we are, somewhat in slow down seasons in the South too. Um, let's make it happen. I mean, there's no reason why we can't. There's no reason why this can't be something we adapt and move and make happen. It's similar to people who donate to the Red Cross or fight world hunger or do whatever. They know that they're never going to eradicate this, right, completely. But damn if they're not going to try, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that's similar to what we're trying to do here.
Yep, absolutely, man. Like you said, there's always going to be somebody who tries to put the tar behind the ear, and
Yeah.
it is what it is. And if as long as there's more of us people trying to do it right than there are people trying to put the tar behind the ear, you're going to get the results that you want overall.
Yeah. I'm with you. Cool. Anything else you want to add before we sign off for the day? You
Good,
didn't take a
man.
pee break. I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
That makes for a
certainly.
good solid thing. But yeah, you're gonna be coming up to visit pretty soon. right? We'll have content with that coming along. We're gonna be at Ignite. We're gonna do MPE this year. We got a lot going on. Daniel's got pieces of content that I'm gonna try to weasel out of him at some point and squeeze out and have him drop on us even more here as the winter goes on. But you know, anything else before we're done for the day?
Good, man. I like the conversation. I like that you're wanting to bring it to the forefront of our specific industry. But I think it applies for any industry. Any person who has influence over what they're providing to others, you have a choice to either do the right thing or do the wrong thing.
Yeah,
And our mutual friend Brian Hess says it well. He says, if you do the right thing every day, you can't get the wrong results.
yeah.
So
And here's the thing, man. Uh, we all put our feet to the ground and go to work. We all do. Like it don't matter whether you're Westcoat or whether you're just a guy who just decided today he's going to start doing this. We all put our feet to the ground. We all have a lot of similar things. We all want to win, right? And we all want to live in a world where certain things are made easier, right? And why not have the image of what we do be made a lot easier to be positive than it is to fight against the image being negative?
yep,
So,
absolutely.
cool. All right. So for myself and for Daniel Wright, in a wonderful conversation today, this is episode 87 of Blacktop Banter. And here at Blacktop Banter, as always, we speak asphalt. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.